cracking, party people? It's your girl Nicole Banister, aka NIKKI BANZ, coming to you live from Cape Town, South Africa. Today I'm interviewing Nelly Attar right here on NIKKI BANZ Live! What up, party people? It is so good to see you all. I know I said it last week. I know we're about a week or so into 2023, but Happy New Year! Oh my goodness gracious. I'm just going to keep saying it because to me it's absolutely amazing. I cannot believe we are in 2023. Like, what in the world happened to 2022? I don't know. Khalas, it's gone. It's done. It's over. It's finished. Finito. Adios. Hasta la vista. It's gone. And now we're already in 2023. And you know what? The year has started off brilliantly. It is a brand new year. Put all the inhibitions, all the doubt, all the worry, put all that aside, okay? Because it's 2023 now. We came here to party. We came here to work. I don't know what it is, but you know, I'm feeling super excited today. I think it's because we got Nelly Attar on the show, y'all. I'm so excited for this. She is an absolutely phenomenal human. We have bonded over our curly hair. Okay, you know, I had the curly hair popping today. No braids for y'all today. Had to let the curls out for Nelly. All right, I am just so excited, and I'm feeling like 2023 is blessed. It's going to be a beautiful year. We're going to do beautiful things. And if you are doubting yourself at any small little bit, I'm telling you, this interview with Nelly is about to shatter all of the doubt that you possibly could have had. This is such an inspiring and phenomenal human. So before I bring her on, just remember, party people, I hope you're all doing well. My girl, you know, my name is NIKKI BANZ. I'm out here every single Tuesday interviewing the most incredible artists, entrepreneurs, athletes, activists, and influencers from across the globe. Every single week is a different guest from a different country, and I am so honored and happy that you're here with me live on Instagram, or maybe you watching the rerun on YouTube. What up? Shout out to the YouTube subscribers. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, go ahead and do that ASAP, okay? YouTube.com/@Nicole Banister, aka NIKKI BANZ, and you can follow me on Instagram @TheyCallMeBanz. So 2023, the guests are getting bigger and better than ever. More countries, more awesome backgrounds and opportunities from people. I mean, I'm just telling you, there's nowhere to go but up, party people. All right? This is your reminder that 2023 is lit. 2023 is your year, and I want you to bring this NIKKI BANZ energy. Okay, I'm giving it to you through the screen. Right there. Big BANZ energy for all of you. All right? We out here, we doing the things, and I'm so honored and blessed to be on this journey with you all. So, woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. With that being said, I have the one and only Nelly Attar on my show here today. Nelly is originally from Lebanon, but now splits her time between Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. She is the first ever Arab woman to summit K2, the second highest peak, the second highest mountain in the whole entire world, after Mount Everest, which, oh, by the way, she's also summited. Okay, the girl is out here. She be climbing. She's a fitness expert. She started Saudi Arabia's first ever dance studio. I'm telling you, I could just be sitting here reading accolades all day long. She's a TEDx speaker, sponsored by Nike. You know, had the Nike fit on just to support my girl, you know. So yeah, it's gonna be an amazing interview, and I'm so excited. I know she's here in the building. What's up, Nelly? I'm coming to you just now. I see you putting those laughing emojis in the chat. I got you, boo. I got you. Okay, I don't even want to talk any longer. I'm gonna bring Nelly on so we can start this interview. Shout out to everybody who's here. What's up, Jose? What's up? I'm seeing so many family from the Nas summits, from the 1 billion followers summits. I'm seeing Afua in the building. I'm seeing Dr. Socrates in the building. What's up, everybody? It's a pleasure to have you all here. I see my boy Chai with Ahmed, who was my guest last week, in the building. What's up, boo? What's up, everybody? It's so good to have you all. Without any further ado, I'm gonna bring Nelly on right now. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? You better be ready, because there's energy all day, baby. Let's go! Live! Woohoo!
energy. You just put the biggest smile on my face. I needed that today.
Girl,
so thank you.
I got you. I'm just so excited to talk to you. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome, Nelly, to NIKKI BANZ Live.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you for having me, and it's so nice to see you again.
I know.
It's
It's been years since we saw each other. No, maybe like 1 month in 2 different years. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I have been so good. You know, I feel like this new year is just starting off with full of energy, full of positivity, and like a lot of momentum. I feel like momentum is like one of my, words of 2023. What about you, girl?
Absolutely. I'm going to write that down. I actually have my notes open. I think there's so many words for this year, but I feel like metamorphosis is my word. I want to evolve this year, and I want to work on things that I've been putting off, including rest and self-care. So yeah, I'm excited for this year. And as you say, it started off with a nice momentum, and some challenges as well, but this is life.
Yeah, I think we'll never be void of the challenges. Those challenges will always come, but just like you do with those mountains, we summit, we rise.
And then we go back down, and then we summit and rise.
Exactly, just go up, down, up, down, up, down, literally. Well, Nelly, I am here to help you metamorphosize your whole 2023 by launching with this awesome interview. I always like to start every episode of NIKKI BANZ Live by telling people how I know the guests who are on my show. And so you and I met only very recently. We met literally like a month ago in Dubai at the 1 Billion Followers Summit, which was this incredible social media content creation summit. And we bonded over these curls, over our curly hair.
Absolutely. And we're sitting next to each other, and then I kind of abandoned my seat so I can get closer to Trevor Noah.
I saw the picture where you like screenshot the picture from the Sire and Trevor on stage, and you were pointing to yourself. You were very close. You were very close.
Yes. Yes. Yes,
I love it. Well, I'm so glad to have you here on the show now. And there's so many different things I want to ask you about. I want to talk to you about women in sports. I want to talk to you about women across the Middle East participating in sports, you being a female entrepreneur for women, by women. But first, the most important question, okay, before we get to any of that, can you please break down your hair care routine for us, girl? Because those curls be popping, okay? We love those curls, girl. Yes.
You too. I love your curls. I actually didn't care for my hair much. I'm starting to. This is part of my, self-care regimen in 2023. So I've been applying, I think, masks like twice a week, 2 or 3 times a week. I've been trying to shower my hair less because I used to shower every day, but that hasn't been working for my hair. So I've been trying to shower it like 3 times a week. I brush it only in the shower. I apply oils. Guys, I'm still learning. I feel like
Oh, wait, say something again. We lost your voice just for a second. Yes, I can hear you. It's okay, girl. We know you're popular. It's okay.
Yeah, no, I think it was Tom. Anyways, yeah. Yeah, it's I'm just experimenting at the moment. What I've learned though is as soon as I get out from the shower, I apply the cream as it's still wet, and then I leave I leave my hair in a towel, and I leave my hair to dry off on its own. I don't touch it as it dries, so the curls can stay perky. And then that's it. And then once my hair is dry, I just fluff it up, and then that's it. And then I sleep on it, it frizzes up, and then I have to do the same thing again like 2 days later.
Okay, well, I'm loving this journey toward having even more of a hair care routine. I mean, I think what you're doing now is fantastic. Maybe the only advice I would have, at least for nighttime, for sleeping, maybe sleep with a silk or like a satin pillowcase. Has anyone told you that before? Yeah.
Yeah. It's been on my to-do list for like 3 years. Yeah.
That would be my only advice. Otherwise, I'm loving the routine, the air dry, the conditioner while it's still wet. I love it. You're a star. Your hair looks amazing.
Thank
Maybe
You
Thank you, babes.
too.
Thank you.
Thank
I feel like, everyone likes to sponsor you for your athletic prowess and your fitness, but maybe you need like a hair care sponsor now. Maybe that's like the next evolution of the Nelly Attar brand.
Perhaps. I mean, that would be amazing. Why not? I just have to care for my hair first. But yeah, thank you.
I love it. We're going to put that out into the universe, manifest that sponsorship for you.
Yes, yes, yes,
Oh
yes.
my goodness.
Yes.
Okay, so we talked about the hair care routine. Now let's talk about this incredible athlete that you are. I mean, you have done Ironman competitions, you have run ultramarathons, you have summited some of the highest mountains in the world. You are a dance and fitness instructor. How and where did your love for dance and movement and fitness, where did that come from?
Um, I wish I can't recall the moment, but I mean, from as early as I was probably like 5 or 6, I used to dance. I remember dancing with my cousin. My dad, may he rest in peace, it's his birthday today. He loved movement. He used to dance. He was a swing dancer. And so, I mean, at home, I was encouraged to move, to dance. My family would take us out on weekly hikes with like family friends in the desert. So I think that's where my interest came from. And then it was just part of my lifestyle. I enjoyed dancing as I got older. I enjoyed hiking, like the occasional hikes. But it was not until I think I was 20, you could say 21,
Wow.
22, that I started to take sports seriously. Before then, it was just recreational. It was for fun. I think around 21, at 21, when I finished my master's degree, at that point, I was unemployed. And I started to hike consistently. And I'm like, okay, this is making me feel good. So then I started with once a week, and then once a week didn't feel enough, and then it was twice a week, and then it was 3 times a week. And during that time, I was trying to find a job, but it actually changed my life. I realized how much I like sports and movement, got certified to be a dance fitness instructor during that time. And little did I know that being unemployed was a blessing in disguise, because it was then that I started to work towards my fitness career. And then I worked in therapy. I worked in psychology after that for a while, but I continued to train and delve in sports more and more, taught part-time. And that's how my, I guess my athletic journey in extreme sports started.
I mean,
around that
to hear that
time.
you were already 21, 22 years old, having gotten this undergraduate degree and a grad degree in psychology, right? And then to pivot and be like, actually, I am, I'm unemployed and I'm doing these extreme sports and they bring me joy. And then to just take that path is so incredible, because I think sometimes we get signs from the universe that we should do things, but then we don't do them, right? Like sometimes the universe is like pushing you in this direction, but you don't actually take that leap. What do you think it is for you that continues to give you that courage to take that leap, whether it is, pivoting from psychology to sports, whether it's opening your own dance studio, whether it's, trying to summiting the highest mountains in the world? Where do you get that courage and that drive from?
I follow my heart. I follow my heart. Honestly, Nikki, in every situation, no matter how small the situation is, it can never be too small. You have to train yourself to listen to not just your heart. What I mean by heart is intuition, your gut feeling, what feels right for you. And that is built on experience, knowledge, your entire life. And only you know what's right for you. And to pivot has, I think, been one of my biggest skill sets. I've changed courses so many times in my life. In school, I loved photography, and I remember thinking, I want to be a photographer. No, wait, I want to be a vet. I applied to vet school. My parents refused. And then I was like, oh, no, wait, I want to get into genetic engineering. And my interests changed course so much up until today. I continue to change courses in my life. And I think that's what makes life so interesting. If you're curious, if you're interested, don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself because, it's right to stay in that lane. It's right to continue until, I progress and, things get better in the future. No, if things are not okay now, pivot. See what interests you. See what you're curious about. And so that's my take on it. If you are interested in trying something new, if you're interested in trying out a new job, perhaps do it in a way that you can. You don't have to quit your job, but maybe take on a side project. And
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
just
Such
explore.
powerful advice there. Don't just stay in your lane. Actually pivot and move and shift if you feel called to do so. And you're right. You're one of the queens of doing that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mustafa. Yes, I mean, listen, Nikki, there's been so many times in my life when I think, what am I doing? Where am I going? Because the average person, I don't think the average person changes course so many times in their life. But again, I look back and I think my life has been so eventful. I want to get to my deathbed one day thinking,
Right.
that was one heck of a ride. I tried so many things. I had such a good time. I met so many people. I tried so many different jobs. So yeah, that's my take on it. Try, explore. That is how you learn what your gifts are. You have so many gifts.
Oh,
so try.
I love that. I love that. You have so many gifts. Just try and figure out what they all are. Yes, girl, you better preach to us today. I love that advice. And I know like people always watch this show and they take nuggets of advice. They take down notes. They write something on a Post-it note and put it on their laptop. And for me, that was one of those critical moments. You have so many gifts. You just have to go out and try and find them. And I love that advice. And I think, as I watch you over the years continue to pivot, watching old interviews you've done, watching your TEDx talk, things like that, it's so interesting how this massive life shift that you had has even helped catalyze the work that you're doing and your spirit even more. And like you said, today is your father's birthday. May he rest in peace. And I know that your father's passing a couple years ago was such a intense and critical moment for you. And what a beautiful way to honor him by being here, having this interview today, by hosting the dance classes that you do for him. The TEDx talk was so incredibly dedicated to him as well. When you think about the legacy of your father, do you feel like you are living that dream for him?
I try to the best of my abilities. I mean, Nikki, sometimes I do get lost. Sometimes I feel like, yeah, I haven't made the best decisions. But then at least when that awareness is there, I try to go back to that path of what did my dad want for me? What made my dad so proud of me? What are the things I liked about my dad? And I don't want to just be that. I want to be an amplified version of that. And so today, that's why I wrote those little notes about my dad, because that's truly his energy. He used to leave people feeling so inspired. And just because he used to listen, when he would talk to someone, when he'd speak to anyone, he would just have an amazing gift of listening, just being fully present. And that does wonders for people. So I try to live by his words. I try to live by his lessons. So I think he's like an anchor for me. Every time I'm lost, I try to go back to what my dad was like, what my dad used to be proud of, the Nelly that he liked, and the Nelly that he celebrated. And my mom too. My mom, bless her, she's my best friend. And yeah, both my parents are so close to my heart. So
shout out to your mom for being your amazing best friend and support system. And may your father rest in peace. You are without a doubt a shining star and a bright light, living that legacy, day in and day out. And of course it's okay if you get lost. We all kind of get lost and lose our path as we go along. But to be able to continue to live in his spirit is so beautiful. So just once again wanted to just say a little, honoring to him, especially today on his birthday. So shout out to your dad, and thank you for being here with me on a very, auspicious day.
No, of course. And Nikki, I just want to say, in terms of pivoting, when I lost my dad, when you go through grief, everything in life changes. You're stripped of, I felt like I was stripped away from everything I knew. Navigating through grief was the hardest thing I had to do in my life. With climbs like Everest and K2, I choose these challenges. Going through grief is not, I don't think anyone would ever want to choose that kind of journey or challenge. But that's something that also taught me how to pivot in life, because you're always going to be faced with challenges and circumstances that you haven't planned for. So you have to adapt. And you are a lot stronger than you think you are. And only until you go through challenges do you learn how strong you are. So that actually has propelled me to take more risks today. and to believe in my
Yes,
capabilities even
yes,
more.
yes. Amen to that, sister. I love hearing about how you're able to take these challenges and continue to overcome them. And I want to talk about, the reality of you being an Arab woman in sports, because from the jump in the world and the geopolitical climate that we live in, from the jump, you were faced with that challenge, right? That challenge is that it is challenging. It is more difficult for women across the Arab world to participate in sports than it is for maybe me coming from the United States or other people maybe coming from Europe, right? So talk to us about how you've been able to surmount those challenges, being a woman who is representing an entire sort of, not even just a nation, but an entire culture of people by doing what you do and breaking so many boundaries for women across the Arab world.
Honestly, I don't think it's a challenge. I think it's been a privilege. It's been a privilege to do something like this and get the support of a lot of people. Yes, there are people that don't understand what you do. There are a lot of people that would try to pull you down and try to convince you out of what it is that I'm doing. And those are not the people that I want to focus on. These are not the people that, I want to give my energy to. So if anything, I feel like I'm grateful for the position that I'm in, to be able to represent Arab women, to be able to show the world what Arab women can do. I'm just like any ordinary Arab woman. I went to, I went to school, university. I was lost. I was unemployed. I've been through so many different stages of my life of being lost and confused and changing passions and hobbies. But anything is possible. If you set your mind to it, anything is possible. And with these climbs, it was an amazing journey, especially being here, because not only did I get to do something so big, but a lot of people started to take interest and they would join me on this journey. I had a lot of women training with me for Everest. At a time when Saudi was a bit closed off, when the training scene was still very limited. So I used this as an opportunity to also get other people moving and outdoors with me. So it was a lot more meaningful than me just going and climbing Everest. It was me training with people, me getting kids out to move outdoors. We clean trails. I also fundraised on Everest for Syrian refugees. And because climbing is not, that common, I was able to shed light on my charity. I was able to get the kind of publicity I needed to be able to raise the funds that we needed. So I'm so happy to be in the place that I'm in. And I think my challenges have given me a reason to work even harder. My challenges have given me even more creativity. And they are the reason why I do what I do. I think if I wasn't here, I wouldn't have had that much drive and inspiration to do these things that haven't been done before.
I'm so blown away by you sitting here saying it's such a privilege to be able to represent your community, represent your culture in this way. And you're absolutely right. And it's one of those things where representation truly matters. So for you to be able to go and do what you're doing, and for other women to see you and join that movement, for you to summit some of the highest mountains in the world and raise money for Syrian refugees, or raise money for other challenges facing your region, your diaspora, it's so powerful. And it's just such a beautiful reminder of the type of person that you are. It's not just you summiting a mountain by yourself, it's you summiting and bringing everybody up with you. And that's been one of the beautiful things to watch through your social media, and in the way that you move through the world.
It's people bringing me up. I'm not bringing everyone up with me. It's people also bringing me up. If it wasn't for the people around me, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. So I'm very grateful. And I think, Nikki, and if you're stationed anywhere, in any country, in any place, you're always going to find challenges. You're always going to find people that don't support you, and you're going to find people that support you. I try to nurture that group of people that do support me and believe in what I do, and people that do similar things to what I do. So I also reached out to a lot of climbers. I created a whole community for myself of climbers and female athletes from across the world, just to inquire and learn and touch base. And now after K2, they reach out to me and ask me about like advice, and it's amazing. And all this, all this to say that, yes, it's been an amazing journey. Yes, there have been challenges, but I try to focus on the positives. And the challenges, I'd say, mainly have been from the side of not having a lot of infrastructure in terms of sports. this was a couple years ago. Now there are a lot more gyms in Saudi. There is a sports landscape that's developing. So it is a lot easier to train around here. About 5, 6 years ago, that wasn't the case. It was hard to find people to train with. I couldn't drive to get to my training destinations. I would have to have a driver drop me. So there are small challenges here and there, but it's small in the grand scheme of things. And then also with sponsors, they don't understand what I'm doing. Yeah, so that was another challenge of, trying to explain to my sponsors what I'm doing, trying to sell the idea to them, trying to get them on board. But then again, that's small in the grand scheme of things. If you want something really bad,
and you have
you'll find a way.
found a way, focusing on the positives, contributing to that sport infrastructure to make sure that other women and other people in your community can do the things that you want to do. I think that's just such an incredible outlook to have on it. And you have contributed to that infrastructure in Saudi in particular with this amazing dance and fitness studio that you have, Move, this incredible studio that you helped found and are still running today in Riyadh. Tell us a little bit more about Move and how you decided to open the first ever dance studio in Saudi.
Blake, you're the legend. Guys, if you're looking for a coach, if you're looking for someone that can help you with your brand, reach out to Blake. Just wanted to give you a shout out. So Move, Nikki, where do I begin? I started Move from a warehouse. It was actually my stepfather's warehouse. He had his office building, and there was just a space that he wasn't using. At the time, I was running around giving classes everywhere. I had just signed with Nike. I had a full-time job in coaching, in that coaching space and mental health space. So I was juggling so many things, and it was all over the place. So my stepfather offered for me to run classes from that warehouse. And at first I was thinking, no, what is this going to turn out to be? How can I take this risk? Will anyone come for me? Anyways, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. That's the only way I can find out. I went for it. We used that space. We launched the class like 2 days later. All we had was a little speaker, and it was a room. And then I just invited my friends. That room started to get filled up again because we started to run more and more classes. And then it just developed organically. I started to think of a name. I was at work, and I remember like at lunch break, I'd think of, what am I going to call this place? Take Your Jelly with Nelly. I Move. But no, it's not about me. I wanted like a movement space. And so Move, I found the logo, like it was all happening without even me realizing. It just grew in such an organic way. And then my clients started to support. They would actually come into classes for free, and then they would volunteer to kind of fix, help me with the branding, help me with the admin stuff. And it grew into a family and then community. And then in 3 months, we actually took over the office building. Poor stepdad, we kicked him out of the office building, and then we just took over the space. And then, and then it became Move. A small space, an idea turned into a business, and the first dance studio in Saudi. And that's literally because we just took that first step. I had no idea what I was doing. But once you take a step, the next steps become clear. And then, people, the power of people supported. An amazing community grew out of it. And over the years, we shifted our focus to just dance because we lack like pure dance spaces in Saudi. And we diversified from hip hop to Afro beats, belly dancing, Irish dancing, pole dancing. We had a bit of everything. But unfortunately, shortly after the pandemic, we actually closed the studio. And at the moment, we are relaunching with programs and workshops. Our first workshop is in 2 weeks. So this is a huge milestone. Yeah. But yeah, Move was just an amazing, when we had the studio, it was an amazing journey. We partnered with the government, ran dance classes all across the kingdom. That's right before we closed for COVID. So it's just crazy what possibilities, we have in this world. Because a couple years back, dance here was unheard of. And then, a few years into having Move, we're partnering with the government to launch classes all across the kingdom. So now we're running just workshops at the moment. So if anyone's in Riyadh, In 2 weeks, we have
Okay.
our first
I'm
workshop
like,
this year.
do I need to be in Riyadh in 2 weeks? I'm like, this sounds amazing. Literally.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I've
you're more
traveled
than
to,
welcome.
I don't know what, 47 countries around the world, but Saudi is not one of them yet. But between you and my other good friend Fatma Al-Banawi, who's an incredible actress in Saudi, between the two of you, I'm scheming. I'm like, I need to make a trip out to Saudi soon, and I would love to come to one of your workshops.
Yes, please. Thank you. Yes, please. You're more than welcome to come and
Absolutely.
stay
Okay,
over
I'm going to
anytime.
take you up on that. One day, inshallah, one day.
Inshallah, inshallah.
Well, I mean, it's just so beautiful what you said about sort of always taking that step forward. And that was something that really resonated with me during your TEDx talk as well, that, you know, you said just take a step forward, even if it's an imperfect step, just take the step forward, because, you know, you have to keep moving. You have to have that momentum to just keep trying, to try something. And look at this beautiful thing that you tried, not knowing how it would go, not knowing if you didn't have a logo, you just used your stepfather's space, and it, you know, metamorphosized into this beautiful thing, you know. So it's really incredible to see how you were able to take that creativity and that entrepreneurial spirit and just go with the flow, literally go with the flow. Hey, you know.
Yes, literally. And then, you know, Nikki, I have to say, a lot of people, I think, fear closing a business, or they fear, you know, quitting from a job. I think one of the best decisions I took was closing Move. Although Move was so intimately intertwined with my identity, it still is. I'm not closing the brand. I'm just closing the studio. The brand is still ongoing. And it was the right decision to take at the time, because it no longer served me. I felt like it was going against my, you know, my value of leading with passion. And there were just so many challenges at the time. Not that there were not challenges we could overcome, but my heart was not there anymore. So I just felt like, you know what, I'm going to take a step back, actually take care of my mental health. It was around the time that I lost my father as well. And this time and space will allow me to reflect on whether I want to relaunch Move bigger and better, or, you know, maybe just pivot. And so that was one of the best decisions I've taken, one of the hardest, to close my business. And also explaining to people why I closed my business. Till now, I keep getting asked, like, why'd you close Move? Why'd you close Move? But it's okay. It's okay. Giving up and taking a step back are two different things. They're not the same thing.
And that's such a critical reminder, Nelly, because I think people think that quitting or stopping something is giving up, but those aren't synonymous, right? You taking a step back, you saying, actually, I'm going to prioritize my mental health. I'm going to prioritize something else. That's not the same as just giving up, right?
Absolutely. So you close a chapter and you start a new chapter. That's not giving up. Giving up is, you know, you could do more, but you're procrastinating for some reason, or you're allowing fear to get in the way.
I oftentimes use this table metaphor that my brother once said. He was like, you know, if you're sitting at a table, there's a finite number of seats at the table. If you want a new person, a new job, a new opportunity to come in, you have to remove a seat from the table, right? You have to kick someone out of that chair, kick something out of that chair. It's not you giving up. It's you saying, this thing no longer serves me in this moment, and I'm going to remove it so I can allow something else to come in and create a new opportunity.
Absolutely. Or just change tables. You can get up and just change tables.
You'd be like, all right, on to the next one.
Exactly.
I love that.
Exactly.
I love that. Okay, I have to just give some quick shout outs. I'm seeing there's so many people in the chat who are being so supportive and so amazing. I see another amazing content creator, Ali Jape from Tanzania. He's here saying, great to see two amazing individuals having a conversation and dropping all those gems. Shout out to Ali. I'm seeing who else? Queen Rosita Happy Tears saying, you had me at hi,
Jumbo
Ali. Queen Rosita Happy Tears saying, you had me at belly dancing. So you've got some international Move fans there enjoying. We've got Wasim saying hi, Nicole and Nelly. Blake, the Blake Brinker with the kiss emojis, giving all the love. I know you shouted Blake out earlier. Chrissy and Sway saying legends. So just shout out to everybody who's here and tuning in. Blake also said Nelly is a legend. I think you saw that earlier.
You're the legend, Blake, and I'm so excited to have a call with you soon. Thank you, guys.
I love all the love.
Thank
and
you.
everybody, if you're watching this here on Instagram or you're watching the rerun on YouTube, if you haven't, followed Nelly yet, please go ahead and do that. You can subscribe to her YouTube channel. You can follow her on Instagram at Nelly Attar. You can follow me on Instagram as well at They Call Me Banz. If you're here on the live, literally just go to the top of your screen, hit that little white arrow, and you'll be able to follow Nelly immediately. Follow me and just continue the conversation. One of the things I really liked, Nelly, because, I always do my research about my guests before the show. I mean, you had so many interviews, so many podcasts, so many things online. It was so easy to just listen to your story told in many different ways and in many different interview situations, which really goes along with this theme and this idea that you sort of just taking, all the opportunities that come to you. I love that, yet you're just so willing to share your story and put it out there. Has there ever been any particular story, any particular interview that was really important to you or like really moving to you?
Actually, yes. I think 9 days after my dad passed away, I was in Jeddah. I was invited. This is prior to my dad passing. I was invited to a big golf tournament. It was the largest one that ever happened in Saudi, and I was representing them. I decided to go. I felt like I needed to just take care of myself. And you know what? I'm going to go. I'm going to occupy my time. I took my mom and my sister with me. And right there and then, they asked me to be part of a podcast. And I said, okay. And the interviewer didn't know that my dad had just passed away. So I was still very, very, very wounded, very vulnerable. I was just crying on and off everywhere I went, Nikki. Like I was crying on and off everywhere. But I felt like, you know what? My dad loved my interview. So I'm going to do this for him. And if anything, I'd like to see what comes out of me when I'm vulnerable. I like when I'm vulnerable. I want to see what I'm going to share because there's not going to be any filters. So I think this was one of my best interviews. It was it was hard to have, but it was great to have as well. I pulled through it and I was like, okay, this is one milestone. I can have another interview. Okay, I can see a bit more people here and there. So that helped me in more than one ways. And the podcast is under Mo Podcast. It's
okay,
Saudi,
amazing. We'll have to go all check that out, that interview with Mo Podcast. And I just feel like this is a constant theme for you, being vulnerable, putting yourself out there, even in moments where it can be really challenging, speaking to the camera on top of the summit of K2 when your face is red from the cold and you're huffing and panting, but you did it and you're talking to us, you continue to push yourself to be vulnerable and put yourself out there, even in tough and crazy situations.
Wasn't always like this. A few years back,
Really?
I did not like crying in front of anyone. I was so awkward hugging people. Yeah. I was notorious amongst my friends for just giving the most awkward hugs. Yeah, like although I studied psychology, I worked in the space for 4 years. I've worked with people, from all walks of life. I always tried to come in with positive energy. So whenever I'd feel down, I would try not to show it. And so that would be like my coping mechanism, just always be positive, always be positive. I am generally a positive person, but I always felt shame and embarrassment, and I felt a sense of weakness if I ever expressed sadness, or if I said no. And this is something that changed after my dad passed away. I had no choice. So even when I'm having interviews for work, I'd cry in the middle of the interview. I'm not going to say sorry. I can't help it. It just, and this is what taught me to connect with my emotions. And this actually opened up a new dimension of emotions for me. And how beautiful it is to be vulnerable and open. Because that's strength. Vulnerability is strength. Having difficult conversations, honestly, being true to yourself, expressing yourself truly, honestly, is vulnerability. And that is strength. And so, just like you would say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't come into work, or no, I'm sorry, I can't come into work because I have a flu. I feel like hopefully people can say I can't come into work today because I don't feel well. I'm struggling. So yeah, I'm trying my best to practice vulnerability. It's a muscle. I don't want to ever lose it. Sometimes I feel like, oh, Nelly, are you starting to, shelter yourself? No. Be vulnerable again. It's okay. Say no. Say what you need to say. And you release tension as well. You release tension that, when I'm talking about vulnerability, I'm talking in various situations. And when you have something bottled up inside you and you release it into the world, it's such a good feeling. It's such an empowering feeling. So that's what vulnerability is to me. And I think everyone should try to practice in different
Girl, you are
situations.
speaking to my heart and my soul right now. And I feel like I too, in the past couple of years, have really tried to embrace vulnerability, have not been ashamed to cry in front of other people, have not been ashamed to say, yeah, I am struggling today, and no, I don't want to see anyone, or no, I don't want to go to this thing, that I was meant to do. And that takes a lot. And it takes almost, for me, it's almost self-love in a very radical way, to say that, like, I'm going to do what's best for me in this moment, and I'm going to do whatever comes to mind. And I'm so in touch with who I am. I'm so in touch with my emotions that if I'm going to break down, then I'm just going to break down. It's going to be that, and, and I hope that everybody watching this live today is taking your advice, heeding this advice that you've just given to everyone, that it is okay to be in touch with your emotions, and it is okay to be vulnerable. And actually, that is going to lead you to being the most authentic and the most confident and the strongest version of yourself.
100%. And please, if there's one piece of advice I'd like to give people, don't numb your emotions. If you feel upset, down, heartbroken, devastated, confused, frustrated, these feelings are trying to tell you something. Understand where they're coming from. Understand the source. That's how you can resolve them. And you'll actually feel even better than being balanced. You'll feel even better than that if you get to the root cause of why you feel frustrated, angry. And know that these emotions will pass. Feelings come and go. The key is to not numb them, and the key, by being vulnerable, you're actually attending to them and addressing them. So
absolutely. I see Miss Lady O is saying in the chat, vulnerability is a part of our strength. Absolutely. I love that. And I think it is one of the takeaways of this. And one of the ways in which you have continued to be vulnerable is even through your social media platforms. You do all this incredible work as an athlete and as an entrepreneur and as a trainer and as a speaker, but now you're also showing us that journey, giving us all the behind the scenes through your content creation. Again, one of the many ways that you've pivoted, one of the many hats that you wear, right? Now it's not enough to just summit K2. Now you have to also create content around it, right? So talk to us about your journey to content creation and putting your life out there and being vulnerable on social media.
I love content creation. I love it so much. I enjoy it so much. I truly enjoy content creation, and I enjoy connecting with people on social media, people like everyone that's here today. I love content creation. It's been a byproduct of what I do. So that's been my approach on social media. So I have something happening in person, an experience, a work event, a climbing journey, or, a training session today. And I like to share that with people online. So that's been my approach on social media. I don't usually curate things. I don't create things to post. It's just, I find an opportunity in what I do, and then I would share that online. And I try to inspire. I try to share things that I learn. And I try to be vulnerable, like the values that I have in my daily life. I try to share those online through my posts. And when I can, I try to be humorous as well. It's been, I have to say, social media has been very delightful. It's opened up a lot of work opportunities for me. It's connected me with people all across the world, and some of the closest people to me. With content creation on mountains, however, Nikki, that's a bit of a challenge. Yeah, I'm sitting on a lot of content that I want to post for K2 and Matterhorn and so many of my other climbs. It's just when you're there and you're climbing, you want to make sure that your focus is on the right things, which is safety and health and strength. So when I do have an opportunity on the climbs to post, I do. But now I have a system of having my sisters post for me, because sometimes you don't want to open social media. Sometimes you don't want to be distracted. You just want to keep that, you want to maintain your energy. I want to protect my energy and keep my world small when I'm up there. So on Everest, I used to post, but on K2, I had my younger sister post for me. I would send it to her on WhatsApp, and she would have access to my account. And now, yeah, hopefully, guys, you will see a lot more K2 content coming up because I'm sitting on a lot of content and this holds me accountable. I have to post them
Okay.
soon.
Well, I love the
Yeah.
idea of just protecting your energy and being on the in the zone while you're up on the mountain. I think that makes a lot of sense. Like you said, safety first. You got to make sure you're focused on what's important, which is surviving and making it through that. And your sisters are supporting you. That's amazing. Can we just talk quickly about, like, for those of us who have never climbed a mountain before, for those of us who cannot even fathom what it's like to do something like K2, from a logistics perspective, you decide, I'm going to climb Kilimanjaro, I'm going to climb Everest, I'm going to climb K2. You obviously, you can't just, like, you know, fly on a plane, just show up, right? Like, what are the logistics? Like, obviously there's the training element, but in terms of actually, like, getting up on the mountain, you have to schedule it. Do you have to notify governments? Like, what is that process like?
Good question, because most people focus on the training. So what is the process like? First and foremost, I have to speak to the climbing company that I'm going to be joining to see if they would allow me to join with, if they would allow for me to climb with them and what would be the prerequisite. Everest had some prerequisites. K2 had different prerequisites. Mountains that are even harder than Everest. So in order for you to be accepted, you would have to prove that you can climb these mountains. So first I'd get on a call with a company and then we would set when I'm going to go climb the prerequisite climb. And then, you know, I'd have to find a coach and then align with my coach on what I'm going to be doing, what the training is going to look like. And then, you know, there's the sponsorship aspect because climbing these 8,000-meter peaks is such a big investment. Such a big investment. And honestly, the company that I, you know, usually climb with, Madison Mountaineering, the best, they're the safest amongst, you know, these tour operators that are running commercial climbs on 8,000-meter peaks, but they're quite expensive. So the overall climb would be 100,000 plus, like if you consider everything, $100,000
Oh my God,
plus.
way
Yeah.
more than I thought.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like if you want to consider the travel and the gear and the climb itself and the trip insurance, like the climb itself is $70,000, and then add to that like the other elements, yeah, it can easily go up, you know, beyond $100,000. So now you have to think of sponsorship. And it's never too soon to look for sponsors because the conversations take forever, and it felt like a full-time job, truly. I went through 200 companies. And it, you know, at some points I feel proud walking in and talking to them about my project. Some other times I feel embarrassed because they don't understand what I'm doing. And I feel like, you know, it's like the energy I get from them is as if I'm begging for money, which it's not the case. I'm asking for a partnership. So, you know, you have to deal with all of that. And then there's obviously, you have to start planning for the climb. So you find the company, you sign with them, then you have to pay them a deposit. Then you have to fill in so many different forms and waivers and contracts, and then you pay the full amount when you're able to. You're supposed to pay that like 2 to 3 months before the climb. And then you have to get trip insurance, just in case anything happens to you up there. What do you want to do if, you know, worst cases, you pass away on the climb? What happens to your body? You have to like consider all these things. And then the visa to the countries, like the Pakistani visa took me 3 months. And I knew that it takes a long time. So then I actually went and befriended the embassy. They became like my best friends. I would go just casually hang out with them here. Yeah. I mean, they were amazing. They were so excited. So it made things easier. But then also, of course, having their support, I was at peace, like knowing that I'll eventually get my visa. Once you get your visa, there's some other documents that you have to fill in. And then, you know, you travel to Pakistan. This is like in brief. Then you go to Pakistan. But once you get to Pakistan, we get to, oh my God, Islamabad. Once we get to Islamabad, you obviously have all the gear as well. And then, you know, you have to book an internal flight to Skardu. From Skardu, we drive 8 hours to get to Ascoli. From Ascoli, yeah, we then drive to get to the mountain. And this year we were faced with a delay because of the weather. And then there was a landslide, which created a detour. So then we had to be on the, we had to be on the road for 24 hours in a bumpy bus, like the whole day, 24 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So then that's just to get to the base of, not even the base of the mountain. That's just to get to the area. So once we get to the area, we start hiking. I mean, we get to the campsite, our first campsite, and then that's when like the cars drop us off, and we keep shifting cars. So it's like a van, and then it's like a little 4x4, a really old vintage 4x4. You feel like you're gonna fly out of the car, and you feel like it's gonna like fall off the cliff, but we survived. Yeah, really interesting ride. Once we get there, we sleep. We sleep in the area, and then we start hiking. We start hiking from the second day, and it takes a week to get to base camp. A week, which I think we covered about 80 kilometers. And then the actual climb begins. We're at the base of K2, and that's when we start to do our rotations. And so that's basically climbing
Oh
K2
my
in a
God.
nutshell. And you have to get medical clearance from here that you're able to do something like
Right.
this on top of all that.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. I was gonna give you the DJ horn really quick because like like my mind was just blown by that description of that process. I had no idea. I swear, Nelly, I had no idea how intensive it was. Also, the financial burden that it places on the people wanting to climb, the gear, and then, like I said, you didn't even talk about the training. That was just the actual logistics of physically getting to Pakistan, getting the clearances, getting the visas, getting to the
Oh,
base camp. I
yes.
mean, that's insane.
And then there's the food, all the food that you prepare, and then also the gear. The packing takes me like 2 weeks because you don't want to pack too much, but then
Right.
you also can't pack too
Right.
little. You don't know what the weather's gonna look like. So it's a fine line. Like you want to pack enough to make sure that if there's weather changes, if anything happens to your clothes, this year actually a lot of people lost their clothes. A lot of people lost their clothes on the climb because mules take our stuff up. Some mules fell into crevasses. They fell with the luggage. So people lost their entire
Wow.
gear, unfortunately. I mean, poor mules. And yeah, so you have to consider everything. You have to plan for the worst, you hope for the best, but even the gear, and then like putting the logos, like that also takes a day or two, adding the logos of my sponsors, signing the contracts with my sponsors, getting the funds from my sponsors. That's a whole process. Also doing PR with the sponsors. I mean, that's if you want to get sponsored for the climbs. If you don't want to, that takes a whole layer of it. And then of course there's the training that, you know, in my peak training week, it went up to about 25 to 30 hours.
Wow. I watched
Yeah.
the YouTube video that you did with Seek Discomfort. It was one of your sponsors on the K2 Summit. And I was watching, you know,
Yeah.
you get to the interview, you know, with the Seek Discomfort team, and you're like, wait, sorry, I have 3 minutes left of lunges. I'm not done yet, but we can start talking. You're just lunging in the sand in 40-degree weather, you know, in Dubai. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, but it takes that level of seriousness. It takes that level of discipline because you don't know what you're going to expect up there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my God, Nikki, the training. So my coach was Michael McCassell, brilliant coach, dear friend. He put an amazing training program together. I died. Like there are days when I wouldn't understand what I'm doing because I'd have to train at a heart rate of 165 beats per minute and above a lot of the times. And then I would do like 2 to 3 hours of training on that heart rate, like up and down within a small margin. It's brutal. Like I can't think of anything else but just trying to breathe. But I'm training my heart because up on altitude, your heart is working so much harder. You know, you're oxygen deprived and it's your body's exhausted because it's an accumulation of days moving and moving and moving and adding like, you know, so much volume day by day. And yeah, the weather here in Riyadh and in Dubai, it would be so brutal in summer, like training in 40 plus degrees Celsius with humidity. I would be drenched in sweat before I begin training. So a lot of the times I'd be on the verge of fainting, just because of how much I exert myself. And then obviously I'm losing so many minerals and, I'm just losing so much sweat. So I would stop, get watermelon juice from the beach, and then like people would look at me like, what is this girl doing covered in sand? She looks like death. What the hell is she doing? And I drink my watermelon juice,
Back at it.
and then I carry on again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I am very grateful for this insider insight. And I know that there was a couple people commenting on the chat earlier saying that they're hikers as well and they're following you for advice and things like that. So I think really just hearing more about your routine, not only just the training, but the realities of actually getting to the hike itself, you know, finding sponsors. Like, these are all things that you have to consider when you're going to take on a major task, a major hike, or an Ironman or an ultramarathon, like something like this, you know, some kind of extreme sport. So it's pretty amazing, Nelly, what all the different hats that you have to wear, right, to be this mountaineer that you are, to be this pro athlete that you are. And it's just really been such an incredible privilege to hear more about your story. And I know we have only about 5 minutes left of the live, so I just want to use this ending time to just ask you, you know, what's on the horizon, what's coming up next, and how can we, as your friends, as your fans, as your followers, how can we continue to support the upcoming journeys?
Thank you so much, Nikki. Actually, I can't see the comments. I don't know why the comments have frozen for me from like, I think 10 minutes ago. So I want to use the next 5 minutes to answer any questions that people may have. But Nikki, you would have to ask the questions because I can't see questions at the moment.
I definitely will.
Read them out loud.
What people can do, go to the little thought bubble in the bottom right corner of your screen. There's like a little question mark there. Click on that and ask a question for Nelly. Nelly, I did see one question in there. Let me open it up. This is from Blake. So Blake is saying, how important has learning to be vulnerable helped you as a human and an entrepreneur?
It's helped me as a human because, I mean, that's what connects you to humans. Being vulnerable is what connects you to humans. So it's helped me become more compassionate. It's also helped me set better boundaries. It's helped me have more self-respect in a weird way by being vulnerable. Not weird, actually. But, I mean, as opposed to what I thought before, being vulnerable has actually helped me take better care of my boundaries, and also connect with people in a more positive manner, build more positive relationships, and it's more self-awareness. I have to say, I've gained a lot more self-awareness through vulnerability. And as an athlete, my God, when you have pain and when you have excitement and when you connect to these emotions, the amount of drive it gives you is crazy. Like, actually, prior to this call, I felt a bit upset and I was thinking, should I go train? Because I have so much frustration at the moment. And I connected with that feeling of frustration. I was thinking, I want to channel that because I'm going to have an amazing training session if I use that frustration at the moment. No, but instead I actually did some self-care, did my nails. Yeah, I did my nails. I didn't train, but I think it's helped me a lot as an athlete. I think pain has helped me so much. And so has inspiration and excitement. So vulnerability in general is a great, it's not an emotion, it's a great state.
I love that. A great state to be in. Absolutely. Well, thank you, Blake, for that epic question. Thank you, Nelly, for answering. I'm seeing another question, simple question from Zulfikar, who's saying, I'm Zulfikar from Pakistan. Where are you from? Woo!
Lebanon. Half Syrian, half Lebanese, actually, living in Saudi.
Lebanese. Beautiful, beautiful. I don't know if you know this, but I'm half Black American, half Iranian. So I got a little Middle East vibes there, girls. Hello, Azizam. Hello.
Amazing. Okay, I didn't know you.
See, I knew I liked you. I love people who are mixed, honestly. I can't lie. I'm totally biased. I'm like, people who have mixed nationalities, cultures, backgrounds, you just see life in a very different way. So I love that for us.
Wow.
Yes.
Amazing.
Okay, a couple other questions. I'll be quick because I don't want to keep you too much longer. We have a question from Wasim saying, how can we stay mentally sharp or balanced when participating in a tough experience like mountain climbing? How can we stay sharp or stay balanced?
It takes practice, Wasim. It takes a lot of practice. So as you're training your body for these climbs, you train your mind. And the best way to train your mind is during the times that you want to give up, during the times that you don't want to train, during the times that you want to procrastinate. When you don't, that's when you build your mental strength. You build that reservoir of mental strength. So like the way I think of it is suffer now, summit later. Suffer now, summit later. And I used to spend 4 hours on a Stairmaster. machine, alone, bored to death, doing the same thing over and over again. But then I think to myself, imagine, how it's going to feel when I'm actually on the climb, seeing all these things as I walk uphill. So yeah, you want to train yourself to be focused. That happens when you're training your body. So try to stay focused when you're training your body. Try to be connected to how you feel, your breath, what goes on in your mind. Visualize your climb. And hopefully those things will help.
I love that little quote you just said, suffer now, summit later. I am here for that. Everybody write that on a post-it note, put it on your computer, put it in your desk, like just refer to that time and time again. I love that, and I'm so grateful to everyone who has tuned into this live. Nelly, I'm so grateful to you for being here, for blessing us with an hour of your time and your insights. I, for one, have taken so much from this interview, just from your ability to be vulnerable to the way that you've pivoted in your career and in your life and your outlook on overcoming challenges. It's just really, really inspiring. And I knew when I met you at the 1 Billion Follower Summit, I was like, I got to tell this girl that she needs to be on my show, because it was just vibes and good energy from the start. And I'm so, so, so grateful that you've been here. So thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you so much. And you're such a vibe. My God, the way you started this live, you flipped my mood. So thank you so much. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your positivity. Thank you for connecting us all with amazing people across the world. Thank you for giving me this chance to connect with people. And I hope to see you soon in Saudi.
Yes,
or in South
come
Africa.
visit me anytime. I'll see you in Saudi. Maybe I'll see you in Dubai for the next NAS Summit. I'll see you somewhere in this world. I promise you that.
Inshallah, inshallah. And guys, if you ever have any questions about climbing, please feel free to reach out to me. I think you can press up on the live. Yeah, and I'm here to help. If
you're not following Nelly yet, the time is right now at Nelly Attar. Go follow her right now. Support her. Subscribe to all of her channels. Keep following her amazing content creation journey and hiking. This has been an hour-long exclusive interview on NIKKI BANZ Live with the one and only Nelly Attar. Thank you, Nelly. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And we will see you next week on NIKKI BANZ Live. Thank you, everybody. Shukran. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Thank you. Shukran.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.